Employee Housing and Accommodation Management is a module that helps you manage the inventory that you hold as an organization to house your employees in case you provide either corporate housing or housing for workers, depending on the industry that you're in. Like all modules, there's a setup area and there's an area where you will define that inventory. So there's a number of things that we need to define. One of them is the realtors, which is pretty simple. You're going to be defining the realtors and their address details and so on. Second thing is you're going to define compounds. Compounds are basically a collection of housing units. Now, it could be a tower, it could be a true compound, it could be a village. It all depends on which area that you're in, and here you see that those compounds will be associated with specific realtors, of course. So again, the assumption is that you as an organization have certain inventory in rented properties that are used to house your employees, and you have relationships with realtors. You might also be the realtor yourself if you actually own the properties. Everything depends on your particular environment. So everything is configurable. That's why you define your realtors, you define your compounds, and of course we're going to define your housing units. So then we have the housing units, each one with a unit number which is uniquely defined, associated with a compound, lease details, and the cost, and so on. And I have created these. I can go and look at more detail. I'll find out a brief description and the number of rooms and the space available, whether it has an internet connection, it's furnished, and so on. All the details are here. Now at this time nobody's assigned to this particular unit, so let's look at how the process works. What we're going to do is we're going to request housing as an employee. Let's say that you are entitled to housing. Maybe there's a policy that after a while an employee can request housing, or maybe based on a project that they're assigned to. It all depends on your line of business. So I'm going to put in a housing request as Stacy through self-service, and I will put in a request for the AEP building. Let's say I'm looking for 1 bedroom and bathroom and garage and so on. The request will be on this date, and I would like to move in a month later. So once you put in that request, based on our workflow, this request will then go to the appropriate person to approve. In my case, the person who is handling these types of requests is a lady named Lisa Miller. And Lisa doesn't have a whole lot of responsibilities, but she's specifically involved in items that deal with housing. You saw there were some workflow tasks pending, and specifically she has a number of workflow tasks pending for approval of housing requests. Let's go and look at the one for Stacy. You see she's also involved in housing assignments and housing termination. And we want to take a look at the detailed workflow transaction. This gives you an idea of how workflow works and interact also. So it gives you the detail about this particular case, what is being requested. And now that we know what she's looking for, I'm going to approve the request, and there are some parameters that have been added which are unique to this particular workflow process. Those are qualification parameters that you can create and choose to use how and when you need them. So in this case, I need to respond to these questions so that it's clear that I've checked a number of things before I approved it. So I've checked, has the employee accepted no smoking policy, have they signed the lease agreement, and have they obtained renter's insurance. Those are questions to me that should guide me in whether or not I can approve this. I will proceed with approving. And now that the approval has been given, I'm going to proceed with assigning the particular apartment. So you notice there are 2 approved requests right now. So I'm going to take a look at Stacy Jones right here. And Stacy, as you may remember, has requested the AUP building. Now, I'm going to take a look at all the units that we have available. There are none that exactly match the request, so we couldn't do that. That's why I had to get the list of all of the available units. So I'm going to assign a studio, and we will assign that as of May 1st. And so she can move in a few days early. She has some time to get in. And let's say this has been approved. So we're going to assign the housing unit, and that's really all it takes. The housing unit has been assigned. If we were to go and check for this particular housing unit in the AAP building, we can find this studio that's been assigned. So if I want to see the assigned housing units now, these are the assigned housing units right here. You notice the studio that's just been assigned. And we will also be able to find, of course, the vacant housing units. So if I'm responsible for managing the company's inventory and assigning employees to them, as you can see, I have access to everything. So now we'll go and request, let's say for some reason, Stacy changed her mind. We're going to request a termination of the move-in. And I'm going to request that right now. So we filled in the termination request. And of course it's again requiring an approval process. And that will be done by Lisa Miller. She has some termination requests showing here. Once she approves it and processes it, then the housing units will be available. So in the end, the whole purpose is to give you a quick and easy way to manage your corporate housing for your employees, or in case you're doing construction projects and you house your workers in temporary housing, you will be able to manage that in the same manner. Employees will be assigned to their unit, and you will be able to track exactly how many units and locations employees are staying in. And of course you could assign multiple employees to one unit. Everything is managed online, and anyone who needs to know can be involved and run reports. Like all other reports, these can be exported to Excel, PDF, and Word with a click of a button.